welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things Transformers and Transformers action figure related. And today on my channel I'm going to be reviewing a figure that I have been trying to get hold of for a while. So when I saw they were doing a kind of reissue of this figure, I was super pumped. And this is Generationtoys' take on Megatron from the comic books, where he turns into this awesome black and purple stealth bomber. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. So to start off with then, let's check a look at the box. And yeah, the box I'm a little disappointed with. Although the box art looks nice, colour-wise, it looks washed out to all hell. I don't know if maybe it's my version, I don't know. But you know, when boxes get left in the front of the shop by the window and they get like bleached by the sun, that's what this looks like to me. It looks like it's been bleached out by the sun. They've got such an awesome alt mode and awesome bot mode. You get the picture of both of them here, but when we check a look at this, the colours just look washed out. It's like, yeah, it's like it's been bleached by the sun. I don't know. But then we get the shiny gold Tyrant collection, 15 plus GT03. The top is black and gold. The back just says Generations Toys, so that's a little bit boring. The side is just nothing. The side is just nothing. The bottom is Generation Toy in nice and gold, and warning, don't eat your children because they have small parts. And that's it. That's a little bit disappointing, if I'm honest. He does come with some destructions, and the destructions are, again, the same artwork with this kind of sun-bleached, washed-out affair going on. Horrific. Instruction sheet. Everything is not in a language that I understand, so really do need to go by the pictures. And it's in a workbook format, which isn't so bad actually. But they make this cardinal sin, right? And this is something Transformers third-party figures, creators, whoever, Hasbro included. If your figure is delivered to me in the bot mode, please have your instructions go from bot mode to alt mode. If it's delivered to me in the alt mode, please have the instructions go from alt mode to bot mode. This figure gets delivered in the bot mode, but the instructions go from the alt mode. So you have to go straight to the back and work backwards from the start. You know, we're quite careful with how we try to transform our Transformers, but having to work backwards on the first attempt, not very good. First we check the box, then we check the bot inside. Now let's check a look at this awesome looking alt mode here. Good lord, I love this. If Hasbro took a giant leap here and always made this Megatron's alt mode, I would be so happy. I think this is much better than any tank they've ever made. This is gorgeous, and it's my favourite style of bots, and that's the black and purple. That is definitely my weakness here, but this is just absolutely gorgeous. And it also has a amazing stand that comes with this figure. Probably the best stand I've ever seen in my life, and we'll come on to that in a second. But first of all, let me take it off the stand so that we can check a look at the actual figure itself. And look at that. That is absolutely insane. So cool. So nice. Purple running all the way through it. Nice black. We get the translucent section here at the front that just really does kind of, when it catches that light, kind of shine. It looks a little bit brighter, if I'm honest, in person than my camera's making everything look. My camera's making these look a lot darker for some reason. Check it out round the back. We've got these two massive jet engines here, and then this section here, which is translucent. at the back as well. It just looks absolutely beautiful, really smooth, really nice. No added real functionality here with this one. It's just an awesome looking jet. Very nice feel on the plastic. Everything clips together. I have to say, for the transformation as well, everything taps together so securely. The first time I was transforming this, I was like, I hope I'm doing this right, but it was right. It just felt like it was gonna break, but it wasn't. It's just the tabs were really, really, really strong on it. So we're getting a little closer now just to check a look at this awesome stand. Actually, I think I'll just look at that. Really cool, nice detailing on this. The front panels on this actually open up as well to give it this kind of highlighted area that you can see as well. On the back we get some translucent areas as well on the back, just there, and the whole thing actually will come apart like that as well. You can just put it right back together. It's a very, very, very secure stand. Really good. And what you get, and the reason it's so secure, it has these little levers here. Focus. Come on, camera. It has a little lever here, and it has little levers on this section here, and it has little levers on this section here as well. So if I want to go up, all I do is flip the switch here, and then it can go up, click into place, and then by flipping this switch, I can lock it into place. So that is so cool. And then again with this section up here, I can flip this switch that's right here, and then this will then move to where I want it to, and then I can just lock it into position. So you see how it's kind of loose now. Then I can just click this in, and this will change the position of this. So you can see you can have this pretty much anywhere you want to go. And then it's the same with this section here. You can see I've got this switch, and then I can move this down, and I can move it back up to wherever I need it to go and lock it into position. So all in all, this stand actually adds a lot to this piece when it's in the alt mode, and will make it really stand out in your collection if you want to put it in the alt mode. I personally think I might actually have this in the alt mode on my collection because it's just so cool. Okay, so now time for the comparisons, and we'll start by bringing in another flying Megatron. So this is the Super Megatron from Takara, and we can see that they are kind of a similar size. Wingspan wise, I guess if we put them together, that one has a much bigger wingspan. But yeah, you know, two different flying Megatrons. I certainly know which one I prefer. And then next to Prime, so next to a Masterpiece Prime, so you can see kind of how he fits in with the rest of your Masterpiece collection. I don't know, how big should a Stealth Bomber be next to a truck? I don't know, you tell me. Is this the right size? I don't know. Okay, so transformation time, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this section, put it to one side, and we're going to remove this section because these do form a gun. Actually, we can just put these together now. So you see this section here and this section here, they just go together. Dink, and then we can pull it out, and we can pull it out. So we will use this later for Megatron's awesome looking arm cannon. Stick this piece back and this piece back as well, so you can see how that looks. So cool. So is a little bit of a parts former, but they do become his arm cannon. So the first thing we do is just maneuver this piece up and then untab this as well, and then up these two sections go. So you should have it looking a little bit like this. Then this section here will come around the front back and move this section down and this section down, and then move these back around to there, and then this section will move around. Or at least I hope it will. Back around to that section. At this point we'll come back underneath and we'll just pull down on this section here to release all this, and then we'll pull down on this section to release all of this as well. So you've got all of this kind of stuff released. Once we have this released, we can then look to bringing the leg down and bringing the leg down. So you've got something that looks a little bit like that. Once you have it looking like this, move out this section and move out this kneecap and bring the whole thing up. So he's kind of then doing splits. Turning it back around, you're then going to rotate this section so you can see this element here, and then rotate this section here and push the kneecap back. Then it's the same on this side. Just rotate it round, bring the section round, rotate that, and then down and down, and you can see you've got the legs kind of done nicely. Continuing on with the transformation of the legs, we're going to flip it round the back, and then these sections here will just open up, you see. There we go. So we got this section to open up, and then get the other section as well. So you've got both of these up, and you can see this as well when you're doing the transformation is one of the a little bit awkward. You can see you need to kind of fold everything up in here. It does actually make that very clear in the instructions, which is cool. Then you're going to bring the foot all the way out and bring the foot all the way out. And here we're going to twist. Okay, so here we're going to twist the toe around and bring this nice toe section out here. Cool. Toe section out. And then flip this section around as well. So you've got both of the little tootsies out like that, and then this section here, we're just going to unfold everything to make the gun, to make the kind of leg placements at the front. So these are kind of fillers that you're going to have to really give it that nice looking effect. Keep these back pieces open just in case you need to readjust anything, because it is easier to kind of get your thumb in to readjust everything, but they do look pretty good, I think. Push it through, push it through. So what you're looking for is it to kind of angle down, then go across, and then if you flip it round, you've got this section here that will come down, and then that will clip into the top, into the bottom here, to just hold everything together a little bit more stable. Now these have got some mega tabs on this as well, so that just snaps in there and then they clip together. So same on this side. Like I say, the tabs on this one are mega, so you really do need to put a little bit more force than you'd probably like to on that one, just to make sure it all goes down. And then the legs are pretty much transformed to, oh dear, let's see. If you push too hard, this is what I mean, they'll go in and it won't be what you want, so then you have to reopen the back a little bit, push them out to where they need to be. It has one stabilizer down the bottom, probably could have done with two stabilizers, kind of one at the top and one at the bottom, just to make sure that everything stays in place, because pushed it far too far to the back. So let's reopen, reposition like this, exactly where we want it, and then reclose this back down again. Now also, just so that you know, that when I straight out the box, that clasp here, that piece that's going along there, mine wasn't down. So if you are somebody who doesn't transform your figures, and you want to make sure that you're keeping that look here on the legs, open up the back of the legs and put that section down, because mine didn't come with that already down. Next up, just on these side pieces here, we're just going to put that section up, and we're also going to just make sure that we put this section up. And then it's about unlocking all of this. So this section here, untab this. Again, this was quite a strong tab when the first time that you do it, so don't worry, this does come off when it's coming out of its bot mode. And then this section here, also quite a strong tab. You can see that really jerked everything around there. Love the tabs on this. These are absolutely fantastic. This section just folds back into here, and then at this point I think I'll also twist everything around at this section, because you will need it there in the first place. And then this bit, and this bit, and this bit can all be unlocked then as well. Then we're going to look at this section here, and what you'll see is just inside there's a little piece that gives it leverage on the way up. So you just need to pull it up. Yeah, you can see that it's out, and just rotate it down, and then that will give it the kind of strength that it needs at the bottom to release everything else. So yeah, so make sure that you move that piece down. At this point, we're going to put the silver section up here and the silver section up here, so they just lock into place. And then to keep everything down, this crotch piece is also going to come up and go in there as well. So you've got that all locked into place. So you can see we're kind of working up from the bottom of the body all the way up to the top. Moving higher up the body, then we're going to separate this section. Now when you come to do this in reverse, this is probably one of the most difficult bits that I found. Trying to get these in this kind of butterfly shape was a real challenge that I found, if I'm honest. But we're going to now separate it, which I hope is going to be easier, certainly on camera for this time. Make sure that you unclip it here from this point. There we go. Unclip from there, and then just kind of maneuver everything down. There we go. There we go. So you've separated all of that now. So you've got the butterfly apart from each other. Then the nose cone can come down in between. Okay, so underneath now, we're going to make sure that we can bring this down and then lift this around, and then you're going to want to plug this back in there. So you can see that you need to be able to have this section come down like that. So you need a good section here where this connects back in like that, leaving everything kind of smooth and nice on the front. There is a little bit difficult to get in, but you want something that looks a little bit like this to be able to move on with the transformation. Once you have that, you can move everything down and then move that section back down again, and then we're going to work on this section. Now these are spring loaded, so this section will just come up like this and then clip back in on itself. It does form a little bit of a problem when you're doing the transformation the other way, because it always wants to push this section back apart. So when we do this section now, it's actually quite nice to be able to just plug it in without it wanting to always separate. And then on the other side, again, we'll just come around, open up this, and that, pop this section out, and then it can go back down like that. At this point, we can probably just go ahead and plug this in, because that's where it needs to be. So you just clamp it down, tab it, and then lock this piece here. That goes into position. Then you should have everything kind of locked in a little bit like this. We can then turn the arms, twist everything out, and twist everything out there. Let's bring the head through. At this point, lock that into position. So that looks all good. And then we can undo the hands and the arms. So we're now going to release the hands. So what you need to do is just move this section up, bend the arm like so, and then you can take that out, and then you can just flip the whole hand out and then get that back down again. And then the same with the other side here. So just untab this whole piece here, maneuver this whole section up again. Tabs are very strong on this, which is great. And then maneuver the hand out whenever it wants to come out, I guess. It doesn't entirely want to come out there. There we go. And then click that back in. And then you have your arm piece there. And your arm piece is there as well. And then just come around the back. This section can tab up, fold in, and this section can tab up and just fold in on itself. Now it's just about completing that look, so push this out and then fold this section out to complete the look there on that shoulder. Same with this one, fold it out, flip it round, complete that shoulder, and then these two sections here at the top, you just boom, boom, give him that little ventilation. On a hot summer's day like it is today, you need that ventilation, right? Final touch then is adding that all-important cannon to the side of Megatron, and there his arm cannon is as well. And there we have our fully transformed comic book inspired style Megatron, aka Tyrant. Good lord, ain't he a looker? This is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful take on Megatron. I have to say that I adore this figure. Absolutely incredible. Look, if we look at the head sculpt on this dude here, we can see the silver, the red, the awesome looking comic book style face, and the head stuff going on as well. These purple engravings that are just absolutely killer as we go through it. We get this kind of really nice detailed ventilations, nice translucent, lovely translucent here on the shoulders as well, that I think is killer. Moving down to the midsection, absolutely beautiful use of the transformation hinges here to really make it look like part of the chest, which is great. I think they've done a perfect job there. This then all links together and looks great from the silver paint, black plastic, the purple running through it is great. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. No real problems with this. There's some gaps, don't get me wrong. You can see some gaps in the figure. I do wish that this chest area here kind of you couldn't see as much, but from certain angles you can't see it that badly. But where there is some gaps as well, they have put some really nice detailing on the inside here. So there's no massive, huge gaps on this figure, should we say. As we move down, we also have the kind of purple, black, grey areas on the legs. And then we also go down to the lower half of the leg where translucent black and purple kneecaps on full display, looking absolutely fantastic. And then this awesome looking leg cover here, which is just gold, silvers, purples, fantastic. Awesome looking arm cannon, probably one of my favorite looking Megatron arm cannons. Black and purple, it's always going to be. And the back, they definitely did not forget about the back on this figure, which to me is super, super, super important. I think it looks great from the back. Also has these fillers, obviously, in the back with those pieces in that really do secure the bottom. Whole thing holds together very, very well. It does really feel great in hand. It's not too heavy. There's a little bit of die cast here in the feet just to give it that extra support as you're posing it, but there's not a lot, so it's not a heavy figure, but it is a great looking, very, very posable figure. So now let's take a look at this bad boy from an articulation point, and we can see here that the head is on a full 360, and we also get to down, And we get some up. Now, if yours comes from the box like mine did, a little loose on the head, don't worry, you have this rather nifty screw at the back here. You can tighten that up and loosen it as you want, and that will give you more stability here. But you also need to undo that because, ding, the dude has some light up eyes, so that's also where the battery goes. I do wish that they'd done more with the light up effect, especially with these pieces within the alt mode. That would have looked absolutely fantastic. And also with the gun, it would have been good to have some light up pieces in the gun. But, you know, cool, I guess. It's nice to have some light up eyes. These pieces obviously articulate to however you want them to be. At the arm, we get a full 360 here. We also get some really nice flexibility here on the shoulder, on the elbow, sorry. This elbow joint is an odd one because for the look, they tell you that it needs to be here in the destructions, but that then really impacts, you're only going to get to there, that impacts the amount of kind of movement you're going to get within that elbow. You can unattach this section, bring it forwards, and then you'll get even more bend out of it, which is great. But then these spikes kind of stick forward quite a lot, so it might impact you with how you want him to look. I don't mind him with the big spikes. It looks like he's got an extra weapon. So that's the two looks you can go for, just to give him that added bit of articulation. Otherwise it does impact that a little bit. The one area that I would say really does let this figure down though is in the waist. You get a little bit of swivel here, really not too much. You know, I know that there's not a lot to play with, but you get a very small amount of swivel. Obviously everything has to lock together, but that is definitely the weakest articulation that we have in the figure, and it is quite stiff as well. So the first point, you might think you have no articulation, but you actually do. The legs, nice, you get all the way back, all the way forward, and you'll get some lovely looking knee bend, swivel, swivel, swivel as well at these legs. And then obviously at the bottom you get some toe articulation, some articulation here as well. The only thing I will say, again, you know, this section here, when you are maneuvering the leg, make sure you're holding on to this, otherwise you'll constantly push this piece in and you constantly find yourself opening up the back, reattaching that. That's what I've been doing anyway. The knee will also articulate to wherever you want the knee to be. Can he ninja kick? That is a good question. I don't know, because the foot joints are a little loose, so no, he's not stable enough to be able to do that, unfortunately. These feet do articulate really well, but you can see they are very, very loose, and not as stable as I would certainly like them to be. So that's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, overall, articulation on this dude is pretty damn good. As well as his arm cannon, Megatron does also come with, or this version of it at least, does come with another kind of section, and that is this. I don't know if this is like a Megatron sex aid type tickler type affair, but it's bizarre. It is a little bit bizarre. This is supposed to be some kind of energy beam blast effect type thing. It smells. I'm going to be honest. It stinks. This thing really does smell of the plastic that it's come with. So much that I quite like to keep it in the box. If you like the smell of plastic, then you'll like this. But yeah, we'll attach the sex aid now and then see how it looks on. So to attach Megatron's sex aid, all you need to do is put him in this hole. Basically, you've got this tab here that goes straight into this hole. Make sure that everything is kind of around this, so you'll just slot it in. It does kind of follow the shape that you can see on here, so it's just about making sure that it goes in like that. There we go. And then the same on the other side, to just put it in, and then the rest of the tabs all follow in, and then this should just be connected like that. You can then bring this forwards, and you can bring this section forwards, and there we go. Megatron's tickler on his gun. And then we can just reattach his gun like that, and then it'll just, oh god, it doesn't really want to go on without disturbing everything else. Hang on, maybe if I move the arm out and then reattach this so that it doesn't get in the way of the hand. Ah, there we go. That's a little bit better. It's very heavy, but he can still hold it, so that's a bonus, because it is a very, very heavy edition. Whether or not you like it, I guess, is down to personal preference. Yeah, it looks okay. It looks okay, but I don't think it's for me. I certainly won't be attaching it. So bringing back in the stand at this point, you can also put in the bot mode on the stand. To do this, you have two options. Option one is to use the port that's just underneath here. There's a little port there, and you can just kind of stick him on, which does work, I promise. Hold it. Let's just connect this in. Yep. So you can kind of put him on the port, so you can have him kind of flying a little bit. It can take his weight. Obviously, everything kind of locks together very well on this one, so you can see that it does kind of take his weight, but it is a little bit kind of off balance, so you have to really unhook everything and make sure that it's at the higher angle to make sure you get the weight distribution correct on it. But you can see he will kind of sit on that stand really nicely as long as it is angled up. It's pretty good. It's a pretty cool stand. It looks pretty good on it. You can do kind of flying pose effects on it then, which is nice. Then you can also add on this attachment that comes with it, and this really does just help him kind of stand up, really. You can put him on here on this section and then just close those in, and that just means that he'll stand nicely then. Yeah, so that's just going to help him, because probably, like I said before, these feet are a little loose, so it's nice to have that there so that you can pose him and he'll hold on. Those grippers aren't very strong though. Okay, so now let's take a look at the comparison, and we'll start with Super Megatron from the Gen Select line. So we can see that he is much bigger than the Gen Select Megatron, even though the alt modes were kind of a similar size, I guess. And then we'll take a look at him next to your MP Prime, and he is taller than your MP Prime. They do look fantastic together though, so he'll definitely fit in with your kind of masterpiece sections. So final thoughts on this dude, and would I recommend him? Yeah. Hell yeah, I would definitely recommend this figure. I think it looks great in both modes. A few little tricky bits to do with the transformation, but all in all, great. Really, really like it. I'm really glad, because this is something I've wanted for a while. I'm not sure about the tickle me Elmo type accessory that we get. We'll leave that one in the box, but everything else is absolutely fantastic. So let me know your thoughts on this one down in the comments. Have you got this dude? Is this something you're looking to pick up? And I'll see you in my next video. Alright guys, in a bit. Peace!